Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I got this first piece of information from Michael at VAL 5 Links. Before I go into what he sent me, I saw another tweet from Michael, and I want to give a shout out to him, and I want to ask him a question. I saw him tweet, he tweeted out that TD Ameritrade had I think they had replied to one of his tweets saying that they were thinking about adding XRP. I want to see that tweet. I didn't see it. I just saw where he said that they had replied. And so, Michael, if you've got that, let me know about it, and I'll show it to my audience. For those of you that don't know, TD Ameritrade is one of the investors in ErisX, and you can check that out at erisx.com. ErisX, to this point, has not said that XRP would be included in the digital assets that they start out with. They're going to have, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum and a handful of others, but they weren't going to start with XRP. And they've point blank said they weren't going to add XRP to begin with. So if and TD Ameritrade being an investor in ErisX, they have also said that TD Ameritrade is going to open up, I think through ErisX, the ability for all of TD Ameritrade's customers, as well as retail, to invest in through, I don't know if it's through the ErisX platform or if it's going to be through TD Ameritrade, but I think ErisX is going to be the back end platform for it. And so that would be big. So Michael, this is to you. If you've got that tweet where we can look at it and see where TD Ameritrade has acknowledged that they're thinking about adding XRP to somehow, whether it's to ErisX or wherever, I want to see it. Okay, but he sent me this. This is from Stephen Dia. And those of you that don't know, Chris Larson has been working with the IMF for, I think, years. And Chris Larson, for those of you that don't know, is the chairman of Ripple. He was one of the founders. Okay, Stephen Diep at DIEPSANH. Give him a follow. Latest update from the IMF. IMF High-Level Advisory Group meets in Singapore to deepen discussions on fintech. The group includes Chris Larson, executive chairman of Ripple. This is just amazing to think that we're invested in a digital asset, and the primary use case, which is what Ripple is working on, the leaders of Ripple are having high-level meetings with people in the IMF and central banks around the world. It's really unbelievable. So he goes on. He says, Bali fintech agenda to be used as a framework. One of their aim is to improve cross-border remittance payments. And he's highlighted all of this. This guy's very thorough. One of the approaches is enabling new models that reduce layers of intermediaries, fostering standardization, interoperability, and fair, transparent access to key infrastructures. How the IMF have been working on gaining insight of distributed ledger technology and virtual currencies help improve the efficiency of cross-border payments. Fintech may produce network effects and economies of scale and scope. As the use of crypto assets becomes more widespread and the need to cash out if crypto assets diminishes, it may also be necessary to regulate other service providers that operate entirely within the crypto space. Really good information. Definitely give this guy a follow. Okay, this is from WebSurfer at WebSurfology. This is huge because those of you that don't remember, South Korea is where the XRP rise really came during the bull run last year. South Korea was one of the major countries that was responsible for that. And then they had kind of a regulatory crackdown. So this is huge. The largest financial regulator in South Korea, the Financial Action Task Force, has completed its requirements for the supervision and monitoring of virtual currency service providers. 35 member countries are about to regulate crypto exchanges like banks. Huge, folks, huge. You talk about regulatory certainty, that's it. XRP Crypto Wolf said this. A lawmaker from Utah has introduced a bill that would stop blockchain firms from being classed as money transmitters. Wyoming, Ohio, Colorado, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and now Utah keep on introducing bills for crypto blockchain. Adoption is coming. In all of these countries, it's pro-legislation, folks. And this is big. It says the bill aims to create a legislative group called the Blockchain Pilot Project Evaluation Task Force to study the potential of the technology in government services. The 12-member task force would also recommend a pilot project using the technology in Utah at a state or municipal level and examine commercial applications of blockchain for future economic development in Utah. Finally, it will prepare a report including any proposed legislation to the Business and Labor Interim Committee and the Legislative Management Committee on or before November 30th. So we're seeing this type of thing almost every day now, or at least every week. States are falling like dominoes, and they're all pro-blockchain because smart people in these states are telling these lawmakers, you want some business to come to this state, you be pro-blockchain, because all kinds of people to this point, of the banks and all, they've made it hard on businesses in blockchain to open up. They've shut down customers' bank accounts because they were buying digital assets. You name it, and now you're starting to see some of these states react to it and say, if we can make our state more open environment for these blockchain companies, all of a sudden we can attract capital. That's what this is about. They smell the money, folks. Okay, this is from Matty Greenspan, who's one of the analysts at eToro. Thailand has outlawed Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, and Litecoin. Thailand has legalized Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Stellar Lumens. Win some, lose some. All right, now let me tell you what I get out of this right here. First of all, it's huge for XRP holders. But here's what I think is going on and what is ultimately going to happen. I believe that people now know that proof of work does not work. I believe that everybody is starting to realize proof of work is too defective. I believe that the reason they're banning these is because of that fact. I believe that the reason that Bitcoin and Ethereum have been included in the batch is only because these were the first two, these were the chosen ones. And right now, if you pay attention, Ethereum, they're trying to get away from proof of work. I mean, the founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, he's already said he doesn't even believe in proof of work. They're trying to change it on Ethereum. And I believe at some point they may do the same with Bitcoin if they're able to. I don't know all the technological aspects of that. But I believe that these have been the chosen ones, and so they're going to move forward. But all of this, I wouldn't have known any of these proof of work things past Bitcoin and Ethereum for anything. Okay, next. And this is huge, folks, and I'm gonna make a very big point here, okay? First we had JP Morgan coin. I think that we have announced, I think that I've gone over whether it's a country issuing it or a bank, and now Facebook. I think that we've seen in the last 2 weeks either the introduction or a news article that says that either a company or a country or a central bank is going to issue a token. And what do all of those tokens that they're issuing have in common? The one thing they all have in common is that they're stable coins. And I'm going to make a very important point here with you. He says, this is from Dan Rocky, at Dan Rocky. Facebook coin is coming as early as first half of 2019. Not only will it become monumental in world economic history, it is going to become a serious and rapid threat for the existing giants of the finance industry. Facebook is becoming a central bank. Okay, now I wanted to read you this first part of this. They're making their own digital currency, and this is the important part right here. Facebook is looking at pegging the value of its coin to a basket of different foreign currencies held in Facebook bank accounts. All right, here's the point, folks. Ask yourself this question. Why are you here? Why are you listening to my voice? Why did I invest? Why am I invested in XRP? I have a Bitcoin, okay? Why am I invested in that Bitcoin? I can promise you one thing. Guaranteed, 1,000%. You're not here and I'm not here for stability. I wouldn't be here. If you gave me 1 million XRP and told me, hey, this is a stable coin, I'm gone. There's nothing in it for me. I'm here to get rich. You're here to get rich. We're here to get rich. This is about getting rich. Nobody's getting rich with any of these stable coins that are tied to anything fiat. Tying a digital asset to fiat defeats the entire purpose of why you and I came to this party. We're in it to win it, but we're in it to get rich. And the way you get rich is you realize what these countries around the world have done, the central banks and the bankers have done to destroy our money over time. Once that has hit you and you truly understand that, and then you see digital assets come out, and they come out in a certain amount where there can't be more of the supply than there is when it's created. Okay? Well, those of us that have been here long enough, we realize now there's going to be a handful of winners. I believe 3 of those winners will be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. All of them have a finite amount, and there will never be more than that amount. I believe that these have been the chosen ones. I believe XRP is the ultimate chosen one. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that these stable coins, what they're doing, whether it's JP Morgan, Facebook, all of these central bank stable coins, all of these are the greatest thing that ever happened to us as investors in the good digital assets. And here's why. What these are going to do, they're not going to make people rich, but they're going to bring average Joe to the party. Facebook has, how many users do they have? It's billions, I think. I don't know if, yeah, okay. Between Messenger, WhatsApp, and Instagram, which Facebook owns, there are a collective 2.7 billion users. Here's what's important to you and I. Facebook is about to draw 2.7 billion users into the digital asset space. And do you know what those people, as well as JP Morgan coin holders, as well as any other stable coin holder, do you have anything in a stable coin? Because why would you? You might get involved in a stable coin for the reason that Facebook users are going to get into it. You might get it. In other words, these people are going to come into the system. They're going to be in the digital asset system, and the coins that they hold are going to be held on these crypto exchanges alongside our precious XRP. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to sit there in their stable coin, and they're going to get bored because there is no opportunity in sitting in that stable coin. Never will be. In fact, the opportunity may be the exact opposite. It may be a downside problem they have, because ultimately these fiats, as a result of digital assets with amounts that are certain and can't be increased, those fiats will die. And if you're tied to the fiats, what happens to your digital asset? It dies. And so I propose to you that ultimately, whereas these look like the stable coins, in the long run, the real stability is going to be in the digital assets like XRP that have a true technology to them, a finite amount, cannot be manipulated by central banks or countries that are controlling their fiats and doing this or that, and have a certain amount that will not increase. That is everything in this conversation. And so I laugh every time I see these articles, oh, JP Morgan coin is going to destroy XRP. Well, JP Morgan coin, as long as you want to be tied to government currencies, a US dollar, I don't care what it is, US dollar, any fiat that is being printed at will, I'll take XRP any day of the week, and so will the investors that Facebook and JP Morgan, they're going to bring the investors to us. They're going to bring them into the system. And I'll make one final point with all of this. How would you like to be holding one of these digital assets? This is an article from today, okay? How would you like to be holding one of those digital assets? I don't care what it is, Facebook coin that's tied to fiat, or JP Morgan coin that's tied to fiat. How would you like to be in one of those when all of their buddies declare a bail-in? How are you going to enjoy that? Well, the answer is I'm not, because I'll be in XRP. But let me just read this This is just from this article. It says the European Union's bail-in rules covering failing banks are a crucial instrument, a German finance ministry spokesman said when asked about Bank of Italy's official comment that they were damaging and virtually impossible to apply. Here's a quote, the bail-in rules that we came up with are one of the key lessons from the financial crisis. They are there and will be adhered to, the spokesman told a news conference on Monday. These were designed, it says they were designed after the global financial crisis to shield taxpayers from costly bank bailouts. Bail-in rules require investors in a bank to bear losses before public funds can be tapped. In other words, no, they're telling you they're going to shield the taxpayers. What this really means is if you've put your money in that bank, they're going to close the bank over the weekend and they're going to shave out 10 or 20% of your savings. They're going to steal it from you. And then if that's not enough, then they'll go to the bailout. Then they'll go to Congress or whoever to get more money approved as a taxpayer bailout. But this is so that they don't have to go to the politicians. This is so they can say, oh, yeah, you've got your money in the bank, so we'll just shave that off. Well, you'll be real happy if you're an XRP holder at that time, especially on a Ledger Nano S, that these thieves can't steal. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that the digital asset investor is not here to be stable. I'm here to get rich, and so are you. And that's not anything to be ashamed of. Thank you for listening.